All right, it's time for the 6th Annual International Women's Day Video Festival, live from Cambridge.
I'm from Japan, and I've been living in America 1 year and 9 months. I think women's issues in my country is economically independent from men. But for that, there are so many problems. For example, we don't get same opportunity to get education. And if the women want to get job, they don't have same opportunity.
Yo deseo que para los próximos tiempos que se nos avecinan y que cada día son más difíciles, que la mujer, con los alcances que ya tiene en este momento, con la preparación que va logrando a través de su esfuerzo, de su nivel ya logrado, un nivel equivalente al del hombre, que ya ha abarcado sitios que solamente estaban destinados o estaban favoreciendo al sexo masculino.
Det är ett rockband som heter Tugga Terrier. Vi är ett band som består av 4 tjejer. Och jag tycker att det är härligt att spela rock med tjejer, och jag vill att det på 90-talet ska komma ännu flera rocktjejer över hela världen.
Our churches, I must say, are a bit behind on a lot of areas where women are concerned. They feel that the women are there to have the dinners and do all the fundraising and all of that.
Mothers of the church, quote unquote,
yeah. But that is not our role.
They are becoming the CEOs and the corporate leaders, and I think that that's justified. I think that it should be that way, and it will be that way. And I believe worldwide political movements will have more women involved at higher levels.
Beautiful, Maria. You're doing great.
When I used to think about a construction worker, I'd think of a guy 6'2", 300 pounds, with a t-shirt, kind of gruff, I suppose. But if you ask me what I would think of a construction worker now, it could be anybody. I'm a construction worker.
Well, I can't imagine myself working yet.
Yet? No?
No, I can't. I can't imagine.
That's saying, what the hell are you going to do when you get on the site then?
I'll do fine. I'm nervous, but I'll do it.
Well, they said, you're only 5 feet tall. How can you get into this? You, Miss Fingernail Polish and Lipstick?
I don't want to look like a construction worker, but, you know, I want to be firm and in good shape, and, you know, I think it's a good, tough, hard job, but I know I can handle it.
Think of me, someone who wants to give 8 for 8.
I picture a hard-working person, early riser every day. Yeah, an energetic person, I picture. Probably that's what I am.
There's no one thing that you look at and say, boom, construction worker, a big man. A lot of people picture that. I picture myself in a hard hat, you know, and some boots, you know, size 4.5 boots, you know. I can't wait.
Ever since I was young, I've always noticed construction sites around town. I'd look up and wonder, could I ever do that? Well, at a group in Boston called Women in the Building Trades, I met other women who are asking themselves the same question.
When I look at you, I wonder, what in Lord's name wants you to go into the electricians? Whatever got you started?
There were many reasons why I decided to go in. I mean, first of all, okay, I've been a housewife and a mom for like 10 years. My husband pays the bills, and he's like, oh, you don't have to work. You can stay home. And I've done that most of my life.
I'd like the big machineries and the big bucks and try it out. Why not?
I'm on AFDC. I got 3 kids. I'm a single parent. And I went to school before, you know, I was going to be a dental assistant, and I tried it. I worked.
I tried that
But it just didn't work. I wasn't able to make ends meet. An $8 an hour job is not going to cut it for me. I just want to be able to, once in a while, be able to splurge on my kids, on myself, and be able to feel good about it and not feel guilty like, oh, God, how am I going to pay my phone bill now that I bought this for myself or bought this for my kids?
When I was young, all I was into was boys, and unfortunately, boys made me get pregnant, and I got out of school early, you know. And I have a daughter who's going to be 2 in July. Who knows? I might be giving her an opportunity in a lifetime by teaching her young.
A lot of women don't know the opportunities that are out there for them to make money and take care of their families, you know?
I've been doing this all these years. You fix up your apartment, and what are you doing? Something that other guys are getting paid for. Getting paid for!
Yeah, I know.
Honestly. Just ones that like to go out and do something I want to do, and I want to be a plumber.
I saw an ad on TV for women in the building trades. It said they could help women get ready to apply for jobs in construction. I knew I'd never find out if I could do it unless I took the first step.
I saw women in the building trades, and they said women in construction. And then I called them, and they said, yeah, we do have training for operators. Whoa. And then they said, come in. And then, you know, when they talked to us and told us, you know, sign for the paper for the application. And, like, I was kind of worried. And then, you know, when we took the test, and then they said, well, after the test, then we'll call you. And then when they called me, I was shocked. You know, wow, they called me.
You know, when I came here for the orientation, I thought, you know, I really didn't expect as many women. I thought I was unusual.
I mean, there's housewives like myself, there was secretaries, and there was a whole, you know, variety of different women. They were like in their 40s, they were in their 20s.
I never could stand going to school with a lot of women. Women, but my class in women in building trade was smoking.
My partner Matt and I were fixing the access frame. This is called an access frame because it gives you access to either end of the escalator. When the escalator is finished, this is going to be where the people will be walking. That's why they call it an access frame. And all this stuff has to be bolted together to secure the top end. Then we'll start doing the chains that will run the steps, put the steps in, and we have all our own electrical work, piping and wiring. Then you start your finished panels, all the stainless. And at the end, you turn the key, and away we go.
We have a couple escalators at South Station, and I had just finished washing it all down. We had tested it. The state inspectors had come, the safety people, and it had all been tested, and I finished cleaning it all up, spit polished and shined the stainless, and
rode it up myself to the other end and was watching as they opened up the gate and let the people through. I was standing up top beaming and asking people, so what do you think? Geez, I built this escalator. It's a great ride, huh?
I had never held a gun. I don't think I'd even been close to a gun ever in my whole life until I was a reserve officer. You know, 38s and 44s could have been Dalmatians and German Shepherds. But I figured if I was going to do this and carry one, I was going to get good at it. One of the things that men have always said about women on patrol was that they weren't going to be able to handle themselves physically. And it is true that I'm small. And so I run and I lift weights and I do all of the things that I feel like I can do to equalize that, as well as practice a lot with my baton and a variety of things. But I'm never going to be as big, and in fact, our biggest guys are never going to be as big as some people who are out there. You've got to use your wit. I walked up on 5 people shooting up methamphetamine a couple of months ago, and I was in an area where my radio didn't work. And I was with a guy that I'm a training officer, and I was training him. He's a helicopter pilot with us, and he said it was the scariest time he's ever had in his whole life. And this guy's 6'4", so he was scared. So those are realities. There are bad guys out there. I've had men that I've arrested sit in the backseat of the car and just shake their heads and say, oh, God, I'm going to jail and by a lady cop. Oh. So their egos have had a hard time. Certainly in a marriage situation, my ex-husband was very threatened by, there are lots of things I think that threaten men, and when you go back to work after being at home with children, that suddenly you're making as much money as they are, and I was working with men all the time, and I was doing things that were foreign to him. And it was very threatening to him. When I first started learning how to fight, because I had to learn how to fight, girls in our society don't grow up fighting, he suddenly went and took a judo class, and that seemed to make it a little bit better. But later, when we ultimately separated, it was with a lot of violence, and he beat me pretty badly, and I realized then that if I were to fight back or do any of the things that by that time I'd learned in the academy, the relationship would have been over in any case. And that was very painful.
Nowhere that we can say that we have equality in athletic programs, including here at Montana State. We don't have equality. We're working on it all of the time. We would like for our basketball team to create the same kind of interest that the men's team does. Because you know that when you get to that point, then that's when you really have achieved equality. You've created as much interest in the whole thing, and people are willing to support it.
5 seconds left. Here's Ridgway, goes right side to Modi, goes inside. She has an opening, puts up the shot. So in and out, and the game is over. The game is over, ladies and gentlemen. The Lady Bobcats have ended a 10-year drought. 23 straight defeats at the hands of the Grizzlies, and they win this one.
To have a society that isn't going to say little girls should do such and little boys should do such and such, but instead that we have a society that says we want to maximize the potential of all of the people. And that's what my real dream is, that we can achieve that at some point. As I said, I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime.
I was hired as a meat cutter once, and it was a big joke to the district meat manager and the department manager or the store manager. They were laughing that they should have hired me as a meat cutter, you know, because maybe I wouldn't be able to lift the 50-pound boxes in the freezer, or maybe I couldn't lift the trays to wash them, or maybe I couldn't handle the hard work or the bandsaw. And they laughed outright when they gave me the job. They did it in a very humorous way. And I went in and proved myself and was unionized and it was all because of a manager who took me under his wing and took me seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, he also wanted someone to talk dirty to, but that was another, that sexual harassment is another piece of that pie.
I'm a lieutenant with the Patrol Division, Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. I think the most important issue for women in the 1990s will be the continued commitment from top administrators to enforce existing policies on sexual harassment and sexual discrimination. It will be important for top management to recognize the achievements and contributions of women within their organizations.
Je crois dans l'avenir pour les années 90 que l'issue féminine dans ce pays, pour moi, soit une égalité entre les femmes et les hommes au point de vue de l'ouvrage. Je crois que les femmes qui font le même travail que des hommes doivent être récompensées avec le même argent. Maintenant, peut-être les femmes gagnent 60% de salaire que des hommes pour faire le même travail. Je voudrais voir dans les prochaines 10 ans que ça soit égalisé entre des femmes et des hommes.
I believe that women need to work together on this issue of establishing fair wages that are equal with those of men so that they can provide for their families and get up and out from underneath this destructive sort of rut. And I believe that this has been allowed to happen because women are still considered to be second-class citizens. And until women establish more self-respect and work together, then I believe this issue can be resolved.
I have a friend here who I've become associated with recently who is a woman in business. And she's being forced out of business simply because she's a woman. She happens to be a woman who's in the plumbing business. And there's blatant restriction of trade there. I mean, the issues that are being brought up in that particular instance are mind-boggling when we realize that we're going into the 90s, that women had been in business for a long time, and here we see a woman who's being forced out of business because she's a woman in a man's area, and the men in this area have kind of taken it upon themselves to go to her suppliers and say, look, we won't do business with you if you do business with her. And the suppliers are backing that up. And this woman is in a real bad spot. So I think because of a lot of that, we as women are going to finally be banding together and realizing that we have a lot of support amongst ourselves, and hopefully we'll be using it.
Só que uma coisa, eu não consigo chegar sempre a horas, atraso sempre, parto do princípio por causa do horário. O horário é das 7h30. E eu chego às vezes 8h30, 9 horas por causa desses serviços. Depois já sabe a preocupação, fazer uma tabicho, lavar a roupa, não sei o quê. Faz tarde. Nem sempre apanho o carro de serviço. Como não tenho apanhado mesmo? É a minha preocupação. E eu, em primeiro, é que sinto muito por nós não termos creche aqui na Testang 2.
Às vezes falam sempre porque as senhoras chegam atrasadas, porque não sei o quê. Eu digo, chegamos atrasados porque é a preocupação de casa. Temos filhos, temos que chegar tarde porque logo que acordar. Lavar as fraldas, preparar uma tabicha para os miúdos. É uma razão que nós chegamos tarde. Queremos que tenhamos o direito de a gente expor aquilo que nós sentimos sobre mulheres, no caso de sermos mulheres que viemos a enfrentar com o nosso serviço no local de serviço. Que também que haja mulheres enquadradas, quer dizer, criar umas condições, uma estrutura no local de serviço a fim de conseguir defender-se sobre o direito da mulher angolana, no entanto, da mulher nesse local de serviço. Em primeiro lugar, não temos a creche a funcionar, as senhoras são obrigadas a trazerem os filhos no local de serviço. Já vê uma mãe, vai atender o serviço ou atender a criança. Eles encontram grandes dificuldades que não se pode transitar.
Eu acho que a OMA necessita de ser organizada, porque quando for uma só trabalhadora, ou 3 ou 4, ela ela não é ouvida, mas se forem 100 camaradas da OMA aqui dentro a lutarem pelos seus direitos, eu acho que nessa altura a direção terá de ouvir, porque atrás de si existem mais 1.300.000 mulheres da OMA de Cabinda ao Cunene.
Hein, vous avez des enfants, la situation est critique lorsqu'on n'a rien. Éventuellement, bon, le problème serait que la femme reste quand même au foyer pour élever ses enfants. Mais à l'heure actuelle, il n'est pas possible.
De problems met de kinderen, de stum kleine kinderen, stum dezelfde problems, darf nog genoeg kijken. Ze zullen geen op de richtige wegen. Met een probleem, dat allemaal staan, darf arbeiten. En zeker laten en geen weg to de arbeid is dan een ander probleem.
I was a secretary in Japan. Most important issue for me as a woman is to have a job and to be a wife. It is easier to do so if people don't have children, but I'd like to have a child and to have a job. But in Japan, almost companies don't have child care system. So I hope it will be a better situation for women who want to have a job.
I think one of the most important issues for women today is childcare. I myself personally have a 7-year-old daughter, and if we had 24-hour childcare, I could be able to go out and work in the field a lot more. I have a pretty good daycare system now, but it's hard to just leave your child with anybody. And I'm very cautious, and she only has 2 babysitters. But I believe qualified, certified child care centers should be available to single parents in the 90s.
I think one of the problems today is that many women would like to be able to stay home more with their children, but they have to abide by the rules of the job, which mean that they are out of the home at exactly the time that the children are in the home. And if there were a flexible schedule for them, perhaps they might be able to stay home with their children more.
Most important issue to me as a woman starting in the 1990s is deciding how I'm going to combine my career with the 6 kids that my husband and I want to have.
I think that we should let the men do our work instead of we doing their work. And I think we should make them work till their hands fall off and turn green.
Why do you think that we should let them do all the work?
Because they want us to work when they just sit on a sofa and watch television. Plus, they think we can't do the work they do, but we can.
So you think that y'all, while they're doing all the work, you'll be going to school and get a better education for your future?
Yes. I think we should do the same amount of work.
The same amount? Why do you think that?
Get out of here. Because it won't really be fair.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
I think men shouldn't just sit around. They should get their behinds up and help us, because they just have us do all the work and they don't do nothing. They might do something around the house and then they just leave all the work to the women.
Many women interviewed were fixated on the topic of sleep. They talked about how much they could get by on. 6.5, 7, 7.5, less, more. They talked about who they knew who needed more or less. Some apologized for how much they needed. I'm afraid I need 8 hours of sleep, as if 8 was too much. They talked about how to avoid fully waking up when a child called them at night, and how to get back to sleep again. These women talked about sleep the way a hungry person talks about food.
by vanguardism. Come make we give a little nurturing. Come sit a while and make we drink tea, and make we talk, and make we strategize. And in transforming by your labor, let the future be in good favor. The world and only get the scrapings from them in control. When we sit down and look at the system and we check out the way that things been, we have to see it rank out the system still. We have to see the system in a really bad way. Our it a defend.